motto is, when they go low, we go high.
Michelle Obama's infamous advice to take the high road could be ancient history. These days, some Democrats are dropping the HALO Act and going full vengeance mode, especially with President Trump and his agenda looking more unstoppable by the day. The president is now gracing the cover of Time magazine with the title Trump's World. California Governor Gavin Newsom is now suggesting that Trump's allies are at risk of not getting into heaven.
Donald Trump's a broken man. He's trying to break this country. Everybody knows that. But to see people in positions of power and influence do absolutely nothing when they must know better, and I believe they do nothing, boy, they're going to have a lot to reconcile at the pearly gates.
Texas State Representative Jolanda Jones is rejecting Michelle Obama's approach and using some violent language. Watch.
I'm from the hood, okay? So when a bully comes, like, if there are no rules, you literally have to figure it out. So if you hit me in my face, I'm not going to punch you back in your face. I'm going to go across your neck. You've got to hit hard enough where they won't come back.
And James Carville is getting colorful with his vengeance fantasy.
My fantasy dream is that this nightmare ends in 2029. And I think we ought to have radical thing. I think they all ought to have their heads shaven. They should be put in orange pajamas, and it should be marched down Pennsylvania Avenue, and the public should be invited to spit on them. All of these collaborators should be shaved, pajamaed, and spit on.
Paul, would you like to comment on James Carville's chair or his comments?
What on earth are some out of the Jetsons? But Carville, when you consider his history, this is the guy who said about Jennifer Flowers, who made a credible accusation against Bill Clinton, that if you drag $100 through a trailer park, you'll never know what you'll find. Now he's ceding himself the high ground, along with so many others. Obviously, the theme is Nazi. And what does it say? That when the thought leaders of your party, and we always hear this thing, well, it's not the mainstream, it's just it's the outliers. No, this is who they are right now. You got Pritzker, Nazis. That's always the theme. Carville's thing was all a dog whistle about Nazis. He was talking about the French collaborators who had their heads shaved and they were marched through the streets of Paris after World War II. That's the clear message. Newsom all of a sudden is pointing. He's pointing out who's going to get into heaven and not. This is the guy who was tapping the head of his campaign's wife, for Christ's sake. All right, you got all of that. Here's what it comes down to. Right now, it's all of this Nazi stuff comes from ICE and the fact that they're arguing with ICE, right? That they just can't stand that ICE is actually enforcing the law. So where does this devolve to? They've taken the bait. Trump has once again outfoxed them. 97% of this country, according to the Pew Research Institute, says that we should deport criminal aliens, people that are here illegally committing crimes. 97%. You can't get 90% of this country to agree on the fact that the New York Jets are terrible. And so they're falling for the bait because what he's done is he has set up a paradigm here where I'm common sense, I'm with the 97%, and they took the bait to be against that. So where we really end up right now is we're in a messaging war. And he's beaten them again. I don't see where they're getting it. They're against what the electorate wants. He suckered them in. They're losing. And somebody better step up to put reasonability back on this party because they are sliding into crazy land.
The weird thing is, Kennedy, Governor Newsom himself gets a little more popular, but the party overall continues to decline.
Yeah, and that's why, he is their great white hope, and he sucks. He's awful. California is in a shambles. This is pure projection. Someone that I don't consider to be a moral leader. I don't know if he's a man of faith. His actions would probably tell a different story. So I don't think he's really the moral arbiter of humanity. And, I personally have so many outstanding questions for the governor that have gone completely unanswered because he's obsessed with doing an impression of President Trump. But, it's like, and he's not smart. He's not good at running a state, but he seems to be the most rational actor they have. And, he's also devoid of ideas. But even though Democrats are polling so badly because, they're whatever ideas they have, they would punish the middle class. So now what they're left with is more violence. And you have rational people who are not Republicans who look at what happened with the president and with Charlie Kirk, and they are all saying the same thing. Like, a vast majority of people are saying the same thing. Like, we don't want to live in a violent society. We want to have a shared humanity. We want to recognize things in each other that, lean toward good. And that's what Democrats have to do, because every idea they see from Trump, they demonize. But the smartest thing they could do is take the things that are actually working, whether it's economically, even on immigration, and say, yes, we can find some common ground here and go forward, because the other way, it leads to government shutdowns, chaos, violence, and ultimately death. And it's really scary if the people who are in power in your party are pushing things to that conclusion.
Jesse, you've always been a real when they go low, we go high kind of guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what I get from you.
Is it Jolanda or Yolanda?
I'll probably say Yolanda.
Okay.
Maybe, probably, I guess.
Yolanda makes me feel old. Why do I feel old? Because why is Jesse Waters lecturing politicians on what's inappropriate to say? We should not be in this position. I'm not the one to say that this should be decorum, but I'm only doing it because I don't want the president to get killed. And usually I would let her say whatever she wants. She's a street fighter. If she's from the street, that's cool. Say whatever you want. But it's gotten too hot on the streets, and everybody knows you got to read the room. But they don't care, Dana. They want the president dead. I have accepted that. And the president will survive. I'm worried about his team. I'm worried about Miller, and I'm worried about Homan and all the crew, because it looks like, from what Carville's saying, come 2028, it's back to the revenge game. They will probably run on revenge in 28. And so Trump just needs to do what Biden did and just pardon everybody on the way out the door. Newsom, what he's doing is playing the shame game. Now, the shame game, how could you stand by while this president, that worked in the first term when Trump didn't have his team there. His second term team is based. They're more based than Trump. Homan, Hegseth, Miller. You're not going to shame these guys out of anything. They're going to do their thing. And it is ironic to hear a San Francisco liberal like Gavin Newsom say, what would Jesus do? Gavin Newsom is preaching. He's holier than thou. This guy, abortion behind your parents' back. Sex changes for kids, sucking up to the Chi-Coms, injection sites. This guy has dabbled in so many sick, twisted, and unholy things. He should worry about his own soul.
What do you think, Greg?
Well, Dana, you and I have a lot in common. When they go low, we're already there. Because we're tiny little people. Carville's interesting. He's got these wild pendulum shifts. Have you noticed it? When he says something we like, we do a block on him and go, wow, this is really refreshing. Then the next day he says something absolutely insane, and we're like, oh, my God, he's insane. He is the guy at the old man bar you don't make eye contact with. Yep. Clearly a day drinker. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but maybe the producers should check on him before they put the mic on him. As for Jolanda, the story is not just about the hand motion that she did. It's the CNN host, Erin Burnett, the white Don Lemon. She just, like, her entire, she didn't even nothing changed. She was like, oh, that's cute, that's clever. She says the Dems should go ugly. Have you seen the Dems? Katie Porter, Jerry Nadler, Adam Schiff, Tim Walz. You can't get much uglier than that, and you're doing a terrible job. Maybe, and this is an idea, why don't you do the opposite? Say things that don't get people killed. Something that we all try to do every day. It might make people hate you less. It's weird. It's funny coming from me, but maybe just be a slightly better person and things will go your way. It's incredible what happens when you're just nicer to people. And also, this whole narrative, we're supposed to pretend that they weren't ugly before, now they're going to get mean. Mm-hmm. They've been calling us everything in the book, Nazis, Hitlers, authoritarians, autocrats, you name it, as if that now the gloves are going to come off. No, the gloves have been off forever. You're down to bone right now. Mm-hmm. I'm beginning to think that the Dems have like this transient amnesia because they forget that just 6 weeks ago, their narratives of demonization got a young man killed. They know that. I mean, it's like people got it. It's like, this is a person, trans adjacent who believed that because Trump was, that Charlie Kirk was seen as transphobic, he deserved to die. So, you know, maybe do we now just play a game where we out-demonize each other? I don't want to do that. You know, so we're ready to stop. So a good exercise is if you feel slightly guilty over your behavior, try not to do it. And then, like, if you have that urge to say Hitler or Nazi, let it pass. There'll be this mental space that will show up. And then maybe if you're Gavin, you can go, what might come next? It might be a thought. I know it's going to feel weird. It's going to be heavy and hard because you've never had one before. And you're going to go, wow, I could actually say something of substance. You know, and you're right about the eligibility for heaven. This is a party that was okay with mutilating kids in the name of identity politics. You can't let that's satanic, literally satanic.
The Nazis killed 9 million people.
Yeah.
You think anything that's present in present-day America is remotely in that universe? Grow up. It's either that or they're incredibly ignorant of history.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.